My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need! And I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so, I finally seen, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, R.I.P. to the great Chadwick Boseman, by the way. I thought I was going to see this movie the day it came out, but once it dropped, I was like, I'll catch it when I see it, you know. So I finally saw it yesterday, and here will be my my thoughts, my review, whatever, of what I thought about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I will be going into you know, some spoilers. I ain't gonna say, like, you know, exactly what happened, you know, in the scenes, but I will be going into some mild spoilers, I guess. So if you didn't see the movie, maybe you could wait to watch this video, or if you just don't care, or if you've seen the movie, let's discuss it. So based off the trailers for this movie, you know, I feel like most people went into this movie expecting this to be like a very emotional, serious tone, like just roller coaster of a movie. And I guess in ways it was, but you know, I guess I thought like I was gonna be in theaters like like just kind of in like a wreck. And like it wasn't really none of that going on. I mean, at times throughout the movie, you know, I did feel like my eyes like jiggle a little bit. You know, it's getting like a little swollen, but it wasn't like nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. First off, the intro to this movie, you know, the intro and the tribute that they did for Chadwick Boseman, I enjoyed it. How they always have like those Marvel openings like right before like a movie starts, like they had the whole thing with Chadwick Boseman and like no music was playing. I just thought all that and like the intro to the actual like the tribute itself at the beginning of the movie was just done really well. Angela Bassett, who I thought from the trailers was gonna carry this movie because she was like the best part of the trailers. That's exactly that's exactly how it went down in the movie. She killed it. You know, from the trailers when you seen her saying, "Have I not given everything?" Like all that. Bro, when she speaks in this movie, like you just feel like this powerful aura about her. Like especially when they was in that court scene when it was the Wakandans versus the Americans and they were trying to, you know, get the rights to the resources of the vibranium, whatever. And like when Angela Bassett was speaking in that scene, like bro, she just had like this powerful just aura about her, and that's how she was throughout this entire movie. I felt like every time she was on the screen, she was just the best part of this movie, if not one of the best parts of this movie. In my opinion, she and someone else that I'll get to later easily carried this movie. Something that actually took me by surprise in this movie, because I remember watching the trailer for this and I was just like, who are these blue people? Like I just wasn't sure what like direction they was going in. But come to find out, Namor, which, you know, you want to call him the villain, whatever, I actually thoroughly enjoyed him. I thought he was a good villain. I wasn't sure how they would follow it up after Killmonger. When they were showing like just the origins of him and like how he became what he was and his people and the city of Talocan, if you say it like that, whatever. When they were showing the visuals and just like the origins of all that, I thought all that was executed greatly. I love seeing all of that. And then once like you seen like his people and like the underground Atlantis ocean of his his motives for why he, you know, feels the way that he does and why he believes in what he believes in and what and just what he's trying to do in the movie. I enjoyed all of that and it made sense to me. And when this saga was in, well, before I get to that, when they did the attack on the American ship that was trying to mine out the vibranium in the ocean, and they was doing like that sonic hypnosis thing, like I really enjoyed that as well. Like his people were really dangerous. Like they were an actual threat. Like honestly, it didn't seem like the Wakandans was like
Hey yo, what the?
And when Namor was in combat, oh my, like I actually enjoyed him fighting. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess he could look stupid with, you know, freaking wings attached to his ankles or whatever. But bro, when this man was in combat, like I just thought he fought raw. Like I enjoyed seeing him on screen, and especially when he got in combat, because he was like actually like, yo, how do you freaking beat this dude? Because he was like a freaking god, pretty much, with freaking wings strapped to his ankles. All that I enjoyed thoroughly in this movie. I thought it was executed really good. So yeah, props to that too. I thought it was neat how they incorporated Killmonger back into this movie, you know, and it wasn't done in like a cheap way, like, hey, I'm alive again. You know, I'm back now. Killmonger's back. No, I thought that was done really well. And then once it does get to that final big battle, I thought it was done well, you know. I liked how at first I wasn't sure, because, you know, most times in like a final fight there has to be a winner and a loser, right? And this one they chose to really have no winner or loser. Shuri kind of decided to choose the path of peace instead of the path of vengeance, you know, even though Killmonger was kind of inside her head. It was like, you know, I like the way that was executed. So it was solid. And that's all the good stuff that I have to say about this movie. This movie did have some issues. One, it did have a lot of plot holes that kind of just had you questioning things like, what? If we're gonna go back to games for a second, remember in Uncharted 3, how Uncharted 3 is still a great game, but it had plot holes in it that had you just questioning things like, that doesn't even make sense. Like that I guess you had some stuff like that in this movie that's just like, okay, whatever. So stuff like that. This whole female Iron Man genius college girl that was put in this movie, and it's not that I didn't enjoy her, you know, I've never seen her before in no movies. I don't know if she's like a new actor or nothing. It's not like she was a bad actor at all. I just don't know why she needed to be in this movie. Like, Shuri is already a genius. You know, some people said that she was more smart than Iron Man himself, you know, which of course got, you know, males triggered. Like, no, she can't be smarter than Iron Man. The whole purpose of why she was in this movie is because she was like the key of, like, you know, the issue that was going on in this movie. And then Shuri and other Wakandans had to look towards her to help them out. And then, like, towards the end, when, like, Shuri was, you know, trying to build up the suit and whatever, she was, like, asking her for it. But, like, sucker, you're Shuri. Ain't you supposed to be, like, know everything? Like, you're freaking working on, like, this freaking advanced AI technology, and you're freaking asking some 19-year-old from freaking, whatever whatever university she was at, and all of a sudden, this chick has, like, a freaking Iron Man suit that she was just saving in, like, the corner of her freaking garage. And you're just supposed to be like, oh, okay. I feel like one thing that these recent Marvel movies are getting away from, that I felt like a lot of people appreciated in, like, the older Marvel movies, is like, people are just thrown into these movies now, and they're just like, you're just supposed to accept their like genius. A reason why people love the first Iron Man so much is because you've seen, like, all of, like, the work it took to, you know, build the suit, and, like, all of the, you know, errors, and, you know, him trying to get the suit right, and, you know, tinkering with this. And, like, now it's just like, ever since they introduced, like, the whole nanotech stuff, now it's just like, they do a couple of little moves on, like, the AI screen, and then it's just there. And then, like, the suit or whatever they're freaking building is just there. And I feel like that's why you don't really have, like, that same satisfaction. So again, like, it is not like whoever that girl was that was, I don't even know her name. I don't remember her name from this movie, but I just didn't really feel like she needed to be in this movie. I felt like they had to, like, come up with something, you know, else to have like a different plot point in like the movie, so they was just like let's just add in some other female Tony Stark genius woman and have her be in the movie. Frick it, we can't think of nothing else, and that's kind of how I felt like. Shuri, well, before I get to Shuri, Okoye, I still thought she was good in this movie, but I kind of felt like they, I want to say, ruined her character. I felt like she was almost in a way the comic relief of I don't want to say that, but she was joking a lot in this movie. Like all of the scenes with her, like she was always joking around, especially when they went to recruit, the female Iron Man girl. Like she was joking around a lot in this movie. And Okoye is supposed to be like this really like disciplined, serious, woman that we all loved in the first Black Panther, who can really fight. And she still does stuff like that in this movie, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like in a way her character was, I guess, watered down, I guess I'll say. And then, Shuri herself, who we all know from the trailers, you could all guess. I mean, who is the Black Panther? Well, so Shuri, I thought Shuri was good in this movie. But once the big battle happens, you don't actually see much of her as Black Panther. It's like once she becomes the Black Panther, she has a little entrance and like her like moment, but then you don't see Shuri in action as the Black Panther really until towards like the end of the movie. And I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if I'm disappointed in that, or it's more like, hey, we all know that Shuri could never replace the actual Black Panther, so let's not even try to make this movie like that, to where like she's the Black Panther throughout the entire movie, and maybe just have her like slowly step into that role. So maybe that's why she, you didn't really see too much of her in action as the new Black Panther. So yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that currently. Maybe I have to let it marinate for a little while, but at this current moment, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, was this better than the first Black Panther? No. Was this one of the best Marvel movies that I have ever seen in my life? No. But was this a solid follow-up sequel to the first movie that was incredibly successful? Yeah, man. Like I felt like this was a solid movie. I would probably give this movie probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. I feel like this is one of those movies that you're either really going to like, or you're just going to kind of be like, yeah. I don't think no one could say that this movie was trash, because it wasn't. I actually felt like this was a pretty good sequel considering the circumstances, the real life circumstances of events that transpired with, actors and Chadwick Boseman. That this was a pretty solid follow-up of the first movie, to me, which still holds up well today. And then the after credits, there are some after credits in the movie that kind of does have you thinking like, what's gonna happen, in the future for Black Panther, who's going to be in charge, pretty much. Yeah, what did you guys feel about Black Panther Wakanda Forever? Did you like it? Did you like it more than the first movie? Were you completely disappointed? Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until the next video, my brothers and sisters, I'll catch you boys in my next one, alright?